In 2016, Mojang introduced a new system that would blacklist servers found to be breaking the game's EULA, meaning no players would be able to connect to those servers anymore. Despite being extremely controversial, with many huge YouTubers and server owners speaking out about it, the server blacklist would be introduced to the game. Only a small handful of about 31 servers would be initially blacklisted, however, often the most popular or most egregiously monetized, many of which chose not to comply or tried to evade their bans, whilst others never saw the light of day again.
Now, we've heard some rumors that if you do comply, they'll take you off the blacklist. You're not willing to do that?
Absolutely not.
Today we talk about the famous Minecraft servers Mojang tried to shut down. The Archon is one of the most famous Minecraft servers to ever exist, most known for its factions mode. Dating back as early as 2013 and owned by popular YouTuber The Camping Russia, the server would see instant success, with Russia's first video on the server gaining over 1 million views. Many now famous YouTubers would get their start uploading Archon factions videos, and the server is cherished in the memories of many. Russia would make over 1,000 episodes playing factions on the Archon, giving it extreme exposure, allowing it to regularly see upwards of 3,000 players online during its peak. That being said, in mid-2016, only a few months after Mojang's new blacklisting system was first announced, with Archon being one of the 31 servers to be lined up for blacklisting, the Archon would experience some early troubles. As you can see by this archive of the server store from 2016, the server not only had pay-to-win mechanics, which while now explicitly allowed by Minecraft's updated server EULA, was actually one of the things not allowed when the blacklisting system was first introduced. But beyond that, the server also had a variety of crate keys and gambling, and also something Mojang very much don't like, the ability to buy unbans.
Mojang made another adjustment to their EULA agreement. First, whatever it was, 4 or 5 months ago, they laid it out. This is okay, this is not okay. And they told the servers to change. They actually blacklisted 30 of us without warning. And then about 2 months ago, they decided that what they thought was okay, they changed their mind again and said that was no longer okay. So all the development that the servers had done and changing their plugins and doing all this, it was completely useless.
As Russia mentioned in episode 969 of his faction series, the Archon alongside other popular servers were blacklisted a few months ago, and after being unblacklisted was about to be blocked again as Mojang's guidelines surrounding what was and wasn't okay with the server had once again changed. Now, to be fair, as you'll see later on in this video, Mojang's early enforcement of the server blacklist was reported by many server owners to be confusing, difficult to negotiate, and also extremely out of touch. And Russia seems to echo a similar sentiment, mentioning he wasn't even sure if they were watching videos he sent them, nor was he sure if the changes he was making were okay.
We have the new system ready. It's ready. We sent them a video asking if it's okay. I don't even know if they freaking watched the video, but it sounds like it's okay. I mean, it's so out there. You know, it's tough to know what's right and what's wrong because every question we ask, all they do is copy and paste the EULA agreement, basically.
A month later, unbans were removed from the store with likely other changes we can no longer view, and it seemed the situation was resolved. Although then, a few months later, they were re-added back once again. Anyways, in 2018, Russia sold the server, but it still remained very successful for years to come, even seeing as high as 3,000 players online again in early 2020 with COVID lockdowns. However, the server began declining entering 2021 and 2022, with 1.8 PvP and factions as a whole losing popularity. Then, in 2022, further troubles with Mojang's EULA making the server remove payouts or risk being blacklisted again seemed to be the final nail in the coffin. To explain, factions often had short 1 or so month seasons where the top factions at the end of each map would receive real money payouts. It was a huge incentive for the competitive factions playbase to keep playing and grind, and is also something Mojang dislike and force servers to remove. But without these payouts, lots of these servers' dedicated players lose the incentive to grind, and as such, this really hurt the Archon, which is where in 2023, as it was barely seeing over 200 players anymore, it shut down and merged with another server called OneBlockMC. It seemed like at the end of the day, the Archon could never truly escape Mojang blacklisting. So, around the time the Minecraft server blacklist was first announced, there was a fair bit of controversy leading to Keemstar making an entire episode on Drama Alert about the situation and getting Sunday as well as 2 other prominent server owners to comment. One of the server owners who Keemstar interviewed was a server owner named Saito, who owned a server called GotPvP.
For the past 2 months, server owners such as myself and Danny here have been receiving emails from Mojang about EULA compliance. And over these 2 months and the emails we have received, they've been pretty much demands with no option of communication.
Why not just to comply with their demands?
The shortest version is that mid-size to large-size Minecraft servers around the world will simply cease to exist. We will die off. EULA compliance does not produce sales like non-EULA compliance does.
So you're basically saying if you're in compliance with them, you guys are going to make way less money and your product isn't going to be as good?
We simply won't be able to provide a service anymore. We will cease to exist.
Unlike the Archon and other servers we'll cover, the owner of GotPvP took a strong stance against Mojang and was choosing not to comply. He was willingly allowing his server to be blacklisted. GotPvP was your classic mid-2010s Minecraft server. They had all the common modes like factions, skyblock, survival prisons, alongside PvP-based minigames and more. The server also regularly saw play counts in the low thousands around the time this entire ordeal was ongoing. Clearly, it was very successful. The server began in 2013 and by late 2015, only a bit over 2 years after release, had reportedly earned over $1 million in revenue, almost $400,000 in 2015 alone, according to this Reddit post which leaked their earnings. That should just give you an idea of the insane amounts these servers were making right there. Going to an archive of the server store, we can see they sold a lot of things, from individual commands and mob spawners to ranks, crate keys, and of course, unbans. Information on the server is hard to find, but it seems that it never did comply with Mojang and was in fact blacklisted, still remaining so to this day. There's one more thing you should know about Mojang's blacklisting though. It only applied to Minecraft versions 1.9.3 and higher, and since at the time many of the blacklisted servers decided to not update beyond 1.8 due to the PvP changes, it meant they could still continue to operate fine. Well, as long as 1.8 remained popular, that is. From the little information that is available in Reddit posts, it seems that entering the later 2010s, the server still stuck in 1.8 began to lose a lot of players. The original owner, Saito, sold it around 2018. Supposedly, in the early 2020s, while still operational, the server had begun spoofing or botting players due to how much it had declined in popularity, where it would eventually shut down in the early 2020s. So, while the server could initially outright ignore being blacklisted due to their player base and game modes primarily being on 1.8, it seemed that wouldn't be a sustainable plan, and eventually their block would catch up with them later on down the line when 1.8 was no longer as popular. And while 1.8 may no longer be as popular, my server's new Civilization Factions SMP, whilst being on the newest version of the game with a bunch of custom features like bosses, dungeons, skills, and more, is actually using 1.8 PvP, so you can enjoy playing Minecraft Factions in its traditional style with all the new features. Come check it out. Oh, and be sure to subscribe. No pressure. Sunday is no stranger to running Minecraft servers, as we've recently seen once again, and back in 2014 he was involved in a popular faction server known as TimelessPvP. This was actually a server I played on too, and I remember watching Sunday do a series on the server, the first episode of which now has over 4.5 million views, potentially the most viewed Minecraft Factions video ever. Anyways, the server was your typical pay-to-win faction server at the time, and with Sunday's promotion, meant it almost instantly began seeing 2,000 to 3,000 players online daily. Ranks, crates, money, MMO levels, in-game items and kits were all on the store. We don't need to go into detail, you know what's up by now. The server was a huge cash cow. Funny story from when I played, a server operator placed a hidden sign at spawn and said the first person to find it would get a free Time Lord kit, the top donator rank at the time's kit. I had the X-ray mod because I always played with it enabled, went to spawn and used it to find the sign and get the kit. Good times. Anyways, Sunday's faction series would continue for some time, with even other popular YouTubers such as Vicstar and Mr. Craner joining in, doing series where they battled Sunday's faction. However, after 2 years and almost 70 total episodes on May 3rd, 2016, Sunday would stop making videos on the server. Coincidentally, the entire ordeal where Mojang announced servers were being blacklisted, with TimelessPvP being the very first on that list, had just happened a few days prior. Sunday would comment this in the Keemstar video: "We all knew it was coming. We will adjust our servers to Mojang's EULA. I personally love pay-to-win games. I've spent a good bit of money on Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and Minecraft servers, but that's not what Mojang wants. It's their game after all." He would also further elaborate in the comments of Keemstar's video. Now, after this whole ordeal and Sunday no longer promoting the server, it died, and died fast. In fact, in August of 2016, only about 3 months later, the server had basically 0 players online and was seemingly about to shut down. The store never changed, indicating they never did comply with the EULA and and maybe just decided to call it quits. This is basically confirmed by this old video from a staff at the time where he mentions a few things of note.
The whole time Timeless was blacklisted, I didn't have like one contact with the owners. I tried contacting them multiple times, so did Julie. Julie was a head staff. We both tried contacting them multiple times, and we got either no response at all for weeks on times, or a very limited response with like maybe 1 or 2 words. The one time I finally got a message and it was, "Are you guys contacting Mojang for it to be unblacklisted?" By that time, I had already sent emails to Mojang discussing the blacklist of Timeless. We could do very little due to the fact that we didn't have console, we didn't have ownership of the server technically, so technically we can't get it unblacklisted. Only the owners could get it unblacklisted. So the owners just completely left, and we sat there and we took all the hate. We took every bit of hate from the players.
So basically, the server got blacklisted, the owners seemingly abandoned it or stopped caring about it, another remake server called LifelessPvP or something was set up and took all the players. The remaining staff tried to get the server unblacklisted but failed because they weren't the owners, and the server was shut down. It seems Sunday and the other owners of TimelessPvP decided after the blacklist that it wasn't worth it to make the changes in order to be EULA compliant and just moved on. In that same call with Keemstar, despite only saying one word, was another server owner, the server owner of DesiredCraft, a server which I also briefly played back in 2014. DesiredCraft was another mid-2010 server that was extremely similar to GotPvP. A lot of the most popular servers were like that at the time. Beginning in 2013, the server would gain rapid popularity after popular YouTuber Preston would make a series on their prison server, the first episode of which garnering over 3 million views. As such, the server would also see comfortably over 1,000 players online daily. The server had a huge store and sold your typical stuff, once again including crate keys and of course unbans, which weren't exactly cheap mind you, likely one of the reasons it was on Mojang's hit list. DesiredCraft would be seemingly blacklisted, with one of their IPs remaining so to this day. That being said, it seemed like their main IP was unblacklisted at one point, and we can later see that the server did update beyond 1.8, meaning they would need to become unblacklisted to do so successfully. If we go to an archive of their store from 2018, they have this statement where they mention the differences between their legacy and VIP ranks, where the VIP ranks are purely cosmetic. So it seems like they did remove their pay-to-win ranks to comply. Or did they? As if you scroll down, they just sell both legacy and VIP ranks separately. The server did employ some rather creative monetization loopholes to get unblacklisted, it seems though. For example, as this Reddit post from 2016 states, rather than selling crates or items, one of the reasons that likely led to them being blacklisted, they instead now sold supply drops, where a chest of goods would spawn next to the player. They could now claim it was fair game, since anybody could open the chest and get the items, not just the buyer. Obviously, any player with half a brain cell would buy this whilst in their base or alone, so the chances of that happening would be nil, but it's a creative workaround regardless. Anywho, while there is little information left on what happened to this server, it seemed that throughout the later 2010s and early 2020s, it lost a lot of its player base and shut down as of a few months ago. So, rather than remaining blacklisted, DesiredCraft decided to find monetization loopholes to be EULA compliant and get themselves unblacklisted instead. Those 31 servers that were the first to be blacklisted by Mojang, none of them really made that notable changes, it seems. The few that did removed only a handful of things like unbans temporarily, still continuing to operate successfully into the later 2010s. Some decided to go down with the ship, remaining blocked to this day but exiting with millions, whilst others improvised and adapted through smart loopholes. Out of all those servers, I think only one, that being Fade Cloud, is still up today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out my new Civilization server, be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching.